Do you even need life insurance? We're going to learn the three main reasons life insurance is needed. Joining us on today's coffee break is Uriah Kane, estate planning advisor at Raymond James Financial Planning Limited. Uriah, why do people need life insurance?
Good question. Thanks for having me on the show, Sybil. I think the short answer is it depends. But if I was to summarize, from my experience, there's typically three scenarios where we'll see, as a financial planning team, where life insurance might be a consideration for the families we're working with. Scenario one is really just to pay down debt. That simple scenario of a couple that might be out buying their first home, sitting down with their mortgage broker, being offered that creditor insurance from their lender. That's an example, a good example of where, considering life insurance to pay down debt is something worth considering.
You mean debt won't get paid off automatically otherwise?
Not always. No, in most cases, no, unfortunately.
So that's a good reason.
Scenario two, replacing income. Again, very common for families and business owners to look around in their situations and realize if something were to happen to me, what would be the legacy I'd leave behind for my family? And so, it's pretty common for us to consider and suggest to people that they get some insurance in place. One very simple rule of thumb across the industry is what we call the 10 times rule. Whatever that annual household income is, to get 10 times that as insurance will typically go a long way to at least provide something as a monthly income in the event that something were to happen.
Well, and that's a real scenario that people often overlook. Especially today, you've got usually most families, both parents are working. Maybe they have kids. If one person passes away, the other is probably not going to survive on their income alone. So making sure you've got that income replacement coverage is key. Now you mentioned the third.
Yeah, so the third scenario, if I was to summarize it, I would suggest that using life insurance properly, it can be a very effective financial planning tool. Now, I'll maybe explain what I mean by that. There's a number of different ways that you can go with insurance, and most of my time is spent in this third scenario. One example is maximizing somebody's estate for philanthropy planning. There might be a charity or an institution that they want to support or help out. And so maximizing their estate using life insurance is one way to do that. You might have a successful business with multiple business owners who are partners in the business. What happens if something happens to one of those business partners? So it's common to have what's called a buy-sell agreement in place, and using life insurance to fund that buy-sell agreement if something were to happen is again, a different strategy, but another reason where.
Well, it's great because not all business owners may be in a financial position to buy that extra share of the company. So having the insurance to pay for it would be very smart.
Yep, that's exactly it. Two other scenarios that come to mind. A lot of the time when we're doing financial planning, we're projecting and forecasting into the future. And one of the things that we can do based on some of the tools that we use is to even predict what future estate tax liability might look like. And in scenarios like that, life insurance is a very efficient tool that we can use to help address kind of those issues.
Oh, I'm thinking the family cottage, the family cottage that's been in the family for years and years, and whoa, all of a sudden you got a $500,000 capital gain or more that you've got.
Yeah, and what do we do, right? What do we do? The last one that I'll share with you, and this isn't something that a lot of people might necessarily think of, but structured properly, funded properly, in the right circumstances, we can even structure insurance as a tax-exempt investment vehicle. And so there's a lot of different reasons why insurance makes sense. And those are typically the three scenarios that I see on a day-to-day basis.
Well, that's great. So pay off debt, income replacement to support the family, and financial planning goals and achievement of those goals, which can include a number of things. And for people who aren't really sure where to start, good news is in our resource section of thewealthylife.com, we've got a basic life insurance needs calculator that they can go to. Uriah, thank you so much for sharing your today. And for our viewers, if you enjoyed this and want to learn how to make smarter financial decisions, go to thewealthylife.com. And that's our coffee break. See you next time.